We're living in a time of great disruption. The COVID-19 crisis has left millions without work. And when those unemployed Americans do go back, the jobs will be different. A new survey from the Strata Center shows that 1 in 3 workers across all industries would change fields if they lost their job. And another recent survey of recruiters found that skills gaps are the biggest challenge with hiring. I'm Susan Morrissey. At SE2, we help clients to make a big impact by taking on today's most pressing challenges. Today, we're talking with 2 leaders whose organizations are pushing innovation, getting people back to work, and reskilling workers for the future of work. Let's start with Joe Garcia. Joe is Chancellor of the Colorado Community College System, the state's largest system of higher education. He's also a member of the Colorado Workforce Development Council and former Lieutenant Governor. Joe, let's talk first about getting people back to work and back to school. What do the next 12 to 24 months look like?
Well, the important thing to recognize is that none of us know exactly what it's going to look like. So we have to be flexible. We have to be prepared for students to come back to our campuses and sit in our classrooms and get face-to-face instruction. But we also have to be prepared to deliver that instruction online and remotely or in a hybrid format so that we can accommodate their needs and the changing environment we find ourselves in.
And what does the future of work look like? And what do nonprofit, public sector, and private sector leaders need to think about in terms of the role that higher ed can play in the future of work?
Well, those leaders, those employers, and in fact, the students themselves need to recognize that we no longer proceed from school to work to retirement in a linear fashion. Students are working while they're in school, and employees are learning while they're at work. They have to in order to keep their skills relevant in today's rapidly changing economy. Employers need to be able to invest in those students so that they can come back and take classes at night on the weekend so that they can be really productive employees.
Thanks so much, Joe. Let's get more perspective now from Dave Jarrat, who is Senior Vice President of Strategic Engagement and Growth at InsideTrack. His organization has worked with millions of students and institutions, helping both to thrive. Dave, COVID-19 has completely rocked the boat for higher education. What are the kinds of things that are keeping higher ed administrators up at night?
Well, in a word, Susan, what's keeping higher ed administrators awake at night is uncertainty. No one knows exactly what the fall is going to look like. And so they're not only putting together Plan B and Plan C, they're putting together plans Q, R, and S. And there's also a lot of concern about the existential threat that this poses to certain institutions, particularly those whose value proposition depends on a robust residential experience. And of course, there's a lot of concern about the mental and emotional impact that this is having on students, on staff, faculty, and others.
Definitely some challenging times. So while at the moment we're really focused on getting people back to work, we also have this unique opportunity to build toward a higher education system that really supports the future of work. What does the future of work look like, and what are organizations like InsideTrack doing to prepare our workforce for the future?
Well, the future of work is going to demand adaptability and resilience due to the accelerating pace of change that we're seeing. Gone are the days where you pick a vocation in early adulthood and stick with it until retirement. Workers today need to constantly reskill and upskill and take on new challenges. And InsideTrack is tackling this from 2 directions. One, we're empowering students through our coaching with the skills and attitudes they need to thrive in a dynamic environment. And we're supporting colleges, employers, and others in building a culture of student and employee success, one that's built on a world where education and work are continuously intertwined.
Thanks so much, Dave. You can learn more about the Colorado Community College System at cccs.edu and InsideTrack's student coaching services at insidetrack.org.